Welcome to Cooking with Lion. Over the years, every holiday, I hear people complain and worry and fret over the turkey and the dressing, and oh my God, it's going to be dry, and I have the in-laws over, and it's the first time I'm doing this, and blah, 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 blah. It's so easy. A couple years ago, I put together a little tutorial, and one of the things I did a couple years ago was the turkey dressing, which kind of the turkey followed. So I've taken all that old footage because I don't have a turkey yet, but put it together and show you how easy it is to get your Thanksgiving and or Christmas turkey dressing absolutely delicious. It's very simple. So here we go. Let me show you how to do this and not fret. And I will see you at the end of the video to kind of just recap a few things. One thing that I noticed, and I don't know why, is that a lot of the things got cut off a little bit on the videos. So I'll just kind of look at it with you and then recap everything for you so you have a wonderful, stress-free turkey dressing that people are gonna beg for your recipe. Okay, here we go. Okay, today class, we're going to make our dressing for the turkey, my secret recipe that I've been doing for years and years and years, and I'll share it with you. The first things I start, we're boiling the giblets. You gotta have giblets in dressing. I'm curious, is it giblets before or after you boil it and cut it up? It's the neck, the liver, the heart, all the good organ meat that you put into the dressing, and after it's cooked and chopped, we call it giblets, I guess. And we need an onion, some butter, grass-fed only, celery, and salt and pepper. And of course, your base stuffing mix, you gotta have Mrs. Cubbison's cubed herb stuffing. I've tried different ones over the years, and they were a fail. So Mrs. Cubbison's cube herb. Right there. And just a couple items of housekeeping. Got to make sure you put on your apron. I have aprons for different holidays. Here's my fall one for Thanksgiving. Make sure that you have the Macy's Day Parade ready to come on the TV because you want to watch that while you're working on getting the turkey in the oven. You know, you can do this the night before, but I was tired last night, so I'm doing it today, and I'm not serving dinner till 8. This recipe you use is the recipe on the side of the box for the in-bird dressing. It's been the same recipe for eons, and then we add the secret ingredients. And don't forget to wash your hands. Another thing that adds another little extra flavor to your dressing is make sure that when you buy your celery, to make sure you get the celery with all these beautiful leaves. Don't get the ones with all them already cut off. You chop them up, throw them in also, and it's just, make sure you chop it up real fine because even after it's cooked, it might get stuck in your guest's teeth. And another thing that can just get so irritating, little kitchen tip, when you're cutting and you gotta throw out all those little extras and you walk across the kitchen, drop it all over the floor. Okay, and now we gotta prepare the turkey pan before we get everything else done while we're waiting for the giblets. Now this pan I've had it was my mom's pan. It's very light. I have no idea what it's made out of, but this has been cooking turkeys since the early 50s. Okay, to get started, first of all, I line the pan one way and one the other with the extra long, heavy-duty Reynolds wrap. You gotta use the wide one so it fits your pan. It has a nice bathtub effect in there. The reason you want that is because it's catching all the drippings that you're gonna want to get out later to make your gravy. And for additional easy cleanup, I wrap the turkey, and then getting ready for Mr. Tucky, we put one big piece across the wide and then one smaller piece across the middle, and that's where your turkey's gonna go. One of the things I find interesting is that my mom is the one who taught me how to make turkeys. Probably my first one was, I think 5, 6 years old. And then my grandma is the one who taught me how to do the foil get up to make sure that the turkey. Okay, back to the dressing. Let's start assembling. And I'm actually making 2 recipes, 2 boxes, because I put one in the turkey and then I cook one outside of the turkey because we are dressing people. Alrighty, we have 2 boxes of cube stuffing. We have 2 cups of onions. We have 2 cups of chopped celery. We're going to mix that up. Get that all mixed up, and then we want to add this beautiful celery leaves. You want to drizzle in your butter so we can get it nice and thoroughly mixed in. Sprinkle in the giblets. Or is it giblets? Giblets. Anyway, on each stage, and I suggest doing it in the order that we did it, make sure that your mixture is thoroughly mixed, especially after the butter, so it is thoroughly distributed through your bowl. Because cooking is chemistry, it does make a difference on how you introduce the different ingredients to each other and how they react to each other. So now it's time. Special secret ingredient that my mama put in her dressing. Number 1. 1 can of cream of celery soup and 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. Now I'm actually putting, now make sure that that's thoroughly mixed up, because now we're adding the warm broth. It's still warm, so it really does help blend those. And because you've added the soups, you don't need to use as much as called for in the recipe. You just stir it up until it's really nice and moist, but not liquidy or mushy. Save the rest, and I'll show you why. Now at this point, you want to taste it to make sure it is good and seasoned right. Oh my God, it's so good. I wouldn't even add any salt, maybe just a little bit of salt. And now we stuff the turkey. I burn the candle at both ends at light, and so I stuff both ends of the turkey. And while you're stuffing the turkey, you want to make sure that you preheat the oven and make sure that you take out the top rack so it's ready for the turkey pan. Okay, now the turkey is stuffed. A couple more things. We go. We make sure we put the string cradle into the pan so it's easy to lift it out. You can buy them pre-made, or I made mine with some kitchen string. And then next, make sure you pat dry the turkey so it's nice and dry with some paper towels. Then get some solid shortening like CRISCO or whatever your organic is of choice. Then put a little salt and pepper on. I actually trimmed off his little toenails here. Now we're ready to close her up. We close the first one. Remember that one? We close that. And then we're going to wrap this one up over it. I'll show you. And remember to write down the time or make note of the time that you put the turkey in the oven, so you know when you start looking to open it up and brown the skin. But it's about 15 minutes, 20 minutes per pound. And remember the extra broth I told you to hold on to? You can use that for 2 things. You can use that for the extra dressing that you didn't have room for in the turkey, because you want to mix some in that and put it in a pan, because you don't have it baking in the turkey. You need a little bit more so it doesn't come out dry. Now, when you're going to put all this extra dressing into your pan, make sure that you put it in there lightly. Don't pack it down, because you're going to end up with a blob of cement. But just let it get in there lightly. It'll cook more thoroughly, and it won't be a brick. If you like, I can show you later how when you get towards the end, you open it up, baste it, and brown the skin. But for now, signing off. Happy Thanksgiving, you guys, and enjoy stuffing your turkey. So thank you for watching the video today. Hopefully you learned some things. I just want to go over a couple items that I noticed that may not have come across, and just some stuff to talk about. You know me. This, like the ingredients, like the 2 cups of this, that, and the other, was for 2 boxes. Because I always make 2 boxes, 1 box to go in the turkey, and because it's always so good and people want more, I always make an extra box and put it in a pan and bake it that day. Sometimes you can make lots of extra and just put it in the pan and throw it in the freezer for later. Because you know, when you start making really good dressing, people want more, so you got to make at least 2 boxes. One thing that I learned over the years, and you'll notice too, some of the simplest things make a huge difference. Like if too much pepper is put into something, that makes a big difference where it doesn't work. If you don't have enough salt or enough seasoning, that makes a big difference, and the recipe might not work. By adding just the simple soups, is amazing. The flavor profiles that you'll get, the soups, the giblets, bliblets, and the celery greens. All of those put together in a wonderful profile that just make your dressing the best. I tell you, I've been making it for years, and everybody, what's your recipe? What's your recipe? So at one time I used to say, oh, my secret ingredient. A lot of secret ingredients, I'll do air quotes, a lot of secret ingredients are basically many times just ingredients that for some reason or another have gotten left out over the years. Just like the game of telephone, you know, by the time you get through 2 or 3 people, something's been left out. So so that's one thing I've learned. Because so many recipes are passed down from family to family, if it's not actually a copy of the original recipe, you're talking, your people are writing down, they might forget something, they might not realize how important that one little thing is. So a lot of my recipes that I have are actually handwritten in cursive, and they're on the original papers. So I make copies of those, and I've made a couple cookbooks for my kids as well, of the old family recipes. So it's just like old is new again, and it's just, it really makes a difference in the flavor of something, as I've learned in many things. Another example is, I recently made some pumpkin pies for a camping trip. It was actually fireball pumpkin pies, but I still used my old style way of making a pumpkin pie, and there's about 3 or 4 differences in the way I made my pumpkin pies as to the way a lot of people make them now. There's some things that have just gotten lost in translation over the years, that those small little things make a big difference. There's people who loved my pumpkin pie who tried it because they don't like pumpkin pie, but they had to try it and absolutely fell in love with it. So I think I might do a pie one also. If there's any recipe that you'd like to see, that's one of the things I used to do a lot, was online, was teaching people how to cook. Because I love to cook, I love to bake, and I love sharing, and it's almost becoming a lost art. And last but not least, I wanted to tell you about, I didn't get into browning your turkey, and first of all, it started out, I showed you how to wrap the turkey, I call it into cocoon. My grandma taught me how to do that, and you bake it in the cocoon. And a lot of turkeys now have those pop-up thermometers, or you can put in a meat thermometer. So you make sure the turkey is done before you open it up to brown it. And what happens is you just check to see when that thermometer pops up, then you roll open, you peel open the cocoon, you just roll it, and then you use a baster. And I have a special baster that got bought for me a few years ago because I had a baster meltdown, and it was the craziest thing. Me have a meltdown? Never. Anyway, so I've guarded this baster with my life. So I have it, and apparently it only costs $1 at a dollar store, but it's better than any baster I've ever had. And I can even get into why basters are good or not good, or why I think they are. But anyway, so what happens is, after the turkey is fully cooked, the thermometer's popped out, you open up the foil, roll it down, and then you use your baster, baste it, close the oven, and it takes maybe about 40 minutes to an hour on the outside to get your turkey nice and the skin browned, and I like it a little bit crispy. So once you do that, then you can take it out and set it in your beautiful platters, whatever you want to do. There's nothing like a turkey. I remember growing up, some of my fondest memories are having Thanksgiving at my grandma and grandpa's down in Palos Verdes, and it was so cool. We would set the turkey in front of Grandpa, and he would carve it. He taught me how to carve the turkey also. Families around the table is the most important thing. So bring your family, your friends who don't have somebody to spend Thanksgiving with. Bring them all together, feed them, give them good turkey and dressing, and if you like, I can show you other side dishes that are really simple and easy and delicious, also passed down the family. And the pumpkin pies too. So thank you guys again so much, and happy and blessed Thanksgiving to you all. Mwah!